Hey guys, this is me again. I'm just doing a little video on 1917 Enfield conversions. A few guys have asked me, they have a 1917 Enfield and they're thinking, hey, maybe I can turn this into something, my barrel shot, or it's been sporterized or whatever. So this is just kind of to show what is involved in doing one up the way it should be done, I guess, in my opinion. So, as many of you may know, this is an original 1917 Enfield receiver. This one I got for free because it was in a fire, and I'm not sure that it's any good. It needs to be hardness tested, which I have not done yet. If it doesn't pass a hardness test, you can have them reheat treated, but usually it's more money than it's worth, unless you have a batch of them, several of them. So if this one is too soft, or whatever, I'll end up cutting it up and it'll be non-usable, so nobody gets hurt trying to put one back together. Anyways, a lot of these receivers, they're, in my opinion, one of the best receivers you can get. As far as an old military surplus action, when I get them, they usually never look like this, because this is all original, and I try to keep the original ones original. I have gotten a few of them that have, some people for some reason will cut a little notch out of here or some part of it, so once they do that, it's not really a collector piece anymore. So I usually try to buy them like this. You can find them, they're not really cheap. You can pick one of these up for $100 to $200, depending on how hard you look. This one has been done. We usually do this, but this is the way it was when I got it. So this is a Remington. The nice thing about the Remingtons and some of the Eddystones, they don't have the big oval in the back. Sometimes, mainly with the Eddystones, when you get that big oval, you need to get a plug and silver solder it in there so you have a solid bridge like this Remington is. But this one didn't have that, so we don't need to worry about that. Most of the time these are done up to mimic the Remington Model 30, which is basically, when the U.S. government no longer needed the 1917s, Remington took a bunch of the 1917 actions, and turned them into sporting rifles. So that's basically, this right here would basically be what a Remington Model 30 looks like, except for the bolt stop. The bolt stop on the Model 30s they don't have this knot, or this lever right here. They have a notch in the front and it's straight across. Also, the 30s are cock on open. So anyways, getting on to what we do here, or what I do, I guess. This is the original bolt handle. Some people like it, I don't. It's a unique feature of the 1917s. When we redo them, this one's not done yet, but it's been bent, so it's straight. So it just looks a lot nicer, in my opinion, and it's more practical. So that's one of the things we do. You also contour this to the Model 30, like I said before, or you can do it to like a Model 70 or a 700 Remington. This leaves quite a bit more material when you do it like the 30, so they're a little heavier, but not a big difference. The triggers get replaced with Timneys. These safeties, there's this little hump on the safety. Sometimes I leave them like that, and sometimes I cut them down. I got another one later I'll show you that was cut down. So that's kind of what I start with sometimes. I try to start with these. Like I said, sometimes they're not this nice in the back. You gotta profile them, but this is a good start. This saves a lot of work. And another thing too that I forgot to mention, this one has had the stripper clip removed in the front. Whereas the originals, when you cut them down, the stripper clip's still there. So we get rid of that, and it just makes it look a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. So here is kind of a finished one. It's not one that I did, but my grandfather-in-law did it. He's a gunsmith. He's been doing this for 50 plus years. This is one that's been all finished. It's blued and polished, stainless steel barrel. There's a cock on opening kit in it. Sorry for my bad camera work. So the cock on open, which you can see there, is a different cocking piece than the original. I'll get out of the light here. Which looks like that. So you can see the difference. The top one is a cock on close, and then this bottom one is a cock on opening. It makes life a lot easier for me, anyways. That's what I like that. But anyways, this is this one was a model 14 bolt out of a pattern 14. As you can see, the bolt face is a little larger, and they also used a 1917 extractor on it. The 1914 extractors look like this, and you can use them. It's just whichever one you use, you have to notch the barrel. They require an extractor cut, and the Model 14 requires a extractor cut back towards the muzzle end, whereas the 1917 extractor just requires a straight cut across the back of the chamber. So one nice thing about these Enfields is they have a canted bolt. So these lugs are at a 2-degree cant. So when you go to chamber around or extractor around, you don't have, rarely do I ever full length size brass with these, because they tighten up when they're snug down, and then as soon as you lift up on them, the bolt starts to come back. So you don't have really a problem as much as you would like a 700 or any other one that has a straight bolt, so you're pulling on it, or you're pulling straight up before you start to pull back. Anyways, here's that safety that I was talking about. As you can see, it's straight, whereas the other one had a little hump in it. And then also, like these back bridges on these receivers, that's what the Sporterized one looks like that some people do. I don't like that. They leave that bolt stop there. Here's what the original looks like. Again, there's a lot of material there. So that all gets removed, and then the bolt stop gets the bolt stop spring gets contoured around the back end of it. There's a little notch there, and then we profile this down, make it look nice. This one just happened to not have the plug in it, so we didn't need to do that on that one. Like I said, we get a Timney trigger, and then the floor plate gets straightened. A lot of guys will cut them off and bend them, which I think is not necessary. This is an original one, or an original. See, they got that little hump in them, which gives you the bellied floor plate. I like the straighten one. What we do is we have a fixture that we put them in. We heat them and bend them, and then you just need to clean it up a little. That's the best way to do it. Then you don't have to worry about weld lines and all that other stuff. So anyways, with the bolt shrouds get shortened. Cock on open, you get a new spring, firing pin spring. The firing pins gets lightened. Sometimes on the 14 bolts you need to match it with the 17 contour. So Anyways, that's kind of a quick general overview on what it requires to do one of these 1917 Enfields.